YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to the Bloodpine Woods today, where we're going to be seeing a face-off between Morgiana Le Fay and Eltharion the Grim, otherwise known as High Elf Batman. Yes, this should be an interesting one. I'm excited for this matchup. Bretonnia is a faction that I don't play very well with. I like them. I haven't played a campaign of theirs in a long time. It's probably something I should do again, just to kind of familiarize myself with it. I like their faction. In fact, the trailer for Bretonnia to this day remains my favorite trailer that Total War has ever made. Speaking of, fun time, go down in the comments and tell me your favorite Total War trailer. It can be from whatever game, whether it's Warhammer or any other Total War game. In any case, yeah, let's check out the Bretonnian army here. It is led by the Fay Enchantress. She does have her Chalice of Potions, which is essentially a Comet of Kazandora on 2 uses. She does have her Mist of the Lady, or whatever it is, which is basically her Mortis engine effect. When she's in melee, she will suck hit points out of a small radius, which makes her very interesting. She's not very strong in melee, but if you can keep her in there without her getting beat to death, she'll do a ton of damage over time. Now, the rest of the Bretonnian army is going to be units of peasants blocking out front, and they are guarding 4 units of foot squires, and then there are several cavalry support units. We'll note here that there's a Blessed Field Trebuchet right now, damaging some Phoenix Guard, and there's also a Holy Warden, or the Warden. We'll come back to the Wardens in just a second, because I want to catch this cavalry charge. We have a questing knight unit that very handily maneuvers itself into a great charge against some rangers, and then follows up with a devastating charge on these archers, and drags the attention of both Phoenix Guard units after it, while another questing knight unit is making its way forward to come and harass. So some excellent cavalry harassment. Back here, the High Elves, speaking of their army, they've got a couple of Illyrian Reavers that came out of a Vanguard deployment and have joined in with the Noble to help pin down a whole bunch of Pegasus Knights and Foot Squires. They are pretty blobbed up and quite a ways away from support, but the High Elf Infantry, which consists of Rangers and Spearmen, as well as the Phoenix Guard we saw, the Rangers and Spearmen have arrived, easily pushing back the Peasants. In the middle, we have the Scions of Mathlon, again, easily pushing back the Peasants. They are supported by a Lore Master of Hoeth that also has Earthblood and Spirit Leech. Again, you can see the Rangers, no problem chopping through Peasants. And this fight is well and truly underway. Eltharion is on foot, which is interesting. Probably don't see that a lot. And, here you go. I got a good view, I think, coming up for you all. Oh, no. Well, crap. Now I gave it away. Yeah, here it comes. I thought it had already come up. Here is the Chalice of Potions. I want you all to see this. This is such a cool-looking ability / spell here. And it was pretty devastating. It killed a lot of these Illyrian Reavers, and they were doing very well there to help pin down all this stuff. Eltharion has now gotten ready to come into combat. Look at the harassment back here. The Spearmen, the Phoenix Guards, trying desperately to keep the Questing Knights out of these archers, and they are just failing to do so. They're causing a little damage, but the archers for the High Elves are going down, and now the Spearmen and the Rangers come up against Foot Squires. Foot Squires are kind of a middle-of-the-road infantry. They're pretty decent for the cost you get out of them. They're not great. They are going to struggle a little with Rangers because they don't have quite enough armor to probably really protect themselves, and then the Spearmen have really solid melee defense. The Foot Squires don't have a particularly high melee attack, and so, it'd be kind of a long, grinding trade there. We do have the Holy Wardens of the Holy Wardens of La Maisental, sorry, and they are fighting the Scions of Mathlon, and they are joined by a Foot Squire, also taking on the Lore Master. Meanwhile, Eltharion actually ends up in a fight over here with Morgiana Le Fay. Is it Le Fay? Morgiana the Fay, whatever it is. I could be wrong here. But cool looking fight here, but a fight that will definitely go in favor of the Warden. He is quite a lot more powerful in melee than the Fay Enchantress. He is taking a lot of damage from surrounding units, but look at the damage he is dishing out. Fay Enchantress just does not have the armor to withstand that kind of pummeling, and she will need to get out of that fight. But I can understand why she probably wants to at least be in the fight for a while, support these Foot Squires. Plus, she is sucking hit points off of Eltharion as she goes, just from being in melee. Look at these nice rear charges here from the Questing Knights. Going to devastate the Rangers and the Spearmen, who are otherwise holding out in that fight. And they get crushed. And the Phoenix Guard, despite being a very powerful unit, is just too slow at this point to keep up. They just can't keep up. And here the Questing Knights again, another rear charge, crushing the High Elf Infantry. And so what was initially going very well for the High Elves in terms of infantry is now going very poorly. But they are not out of tools. This Noble is absolutely crushing Bretonnians as it goes. It's being healed along the way by the lore master that was present. You got Eltharion tanking it out over here against some regrouped Pegasus Knights. And yeah, the Noble in pretty solid health here. Now, the Phoenix Guard did arrive in this fight. The Bretonnians are going to have to move their cavalry on. It would probably be okay to let the Foot Squires stay and hold this unit for as long as they can. They'll lose against the Phoenix Guard quite handily, but at least they could try to get some damage done. You see that several Questing Knight units, that one right there is about to pick up a Chevron. Let's check out some of the others. This Questing Knight unit also about to pick up a Chevron, 128 kills, so nice use of the Questing Knights, really, from Bretonnia, I think, overall. The Fay Enchantress has healed, and she is moving on, looking for another spot to fight. The Noble wants to engage her, but she's not having that right now. And another Chalice of Potions dropping here, this time on a Phoenix Guard, which is a good call. It causes magic damage. The Phoenix Guard have some physical resistance, so I think that's a good placement for the Chalice of Potions. You can see the Fae is going to use her Questing Knights for cover. It's a very smart move. Those guys do excellent armor-piercing damage. There's some Rangers coming back in the background. A lot of Bretonnian units regrouping, and Eltharion finds himself kind of continuously having to kill one unit of Foot Squires after another as they regroup because they are pretty weak and they're constantly having to regroup. So Eltharion here with Apotheosis and giving himself some healing here. Won't be a ton, but it'll be enough. And we're going to see the Knights just continuing to devastate the High Elf Infantry, even though it's a Phoenix Guard, and they're quite good against cavalry. The armor piercing of the Questing Knights and the big charge, and then the combined fact that this Phoenix Guard is out on its own, it fights like crazy. I mean, the Phoenix Guard lives up to its name here. I mean, it didn't rout until the very last second. It lost almost all of its hit points and completely surrounded. So an epic showing by the Phoenix Guard, but they just got overrun here by the nobles and peasants. So we're going to see the Questing Knights now looking for their next target. Eltharion is kind of moving away from the Foot Squires that he's fighting, and you can see here the Rangers are going to try and play cleanup on some of the archers in the background that the Noble is also working on. The Noble is certainly needed to help support Eltharion. He's going to need all the help he can get. A healthy Phoenix Guard unit finally arrives back from having chased earlier and immediately receives a charge from the Questing Knights for its trouble. But the Questing Knights do kind of get stuck a little longer in melee here, and they will pay a dear price up against the Phoenix Guard in a long, drawn-out fight like that. But here comes another charge from a Questing Knight, again smashing right into the rear of this Phoenix Guard. But look at this Phoenix Guard. It's already picked up a Chevron here with 68 kills. This is a tough unit, and it is going to tank a lot of this fight. It's now got the support of Eltharion. So with their Warden nearby, the Phoenix Guard will certainly put up a ferocious fight here. And here comes the Fae. She was about to duck into combat, but then pulled out. You do get the clash in here from the Noble, who is now trying to support this. And so this fight becomes the focus of the battlefield, while there are still some units regrouping and fighting on the periphery of the battle. Right now, the main fight is here. These Phoenix Guard managed to regroup with only 5 unit models left and came charging in with under 100 hit points, and then managed to rout a unit in the process. So the Bretonnians take a pretty unfavorable engagement here, and those Phoenix Guard really come out to show their strength in the right situation. You're going to see the Bretonnians here pay a hefty price, and now the Fay Enchantress in big trouble as she is nearly at her healing cap and being chased by a unit that is probably almost as fast as she is. Not quite, but pretty close. So she's going to have to get away from that. A couple of Questing Knights did come back from routing. There's a few Foot Squires. This one managed to hold on here too. It is going to be charged by a combo of Eltharion and Phoenix Guardsmen, and they will not last long in this fight. It's not going to be great for them. The High Elves here have the leadership support, and they just have the superior unit. There are some archers left in the background. This is bad news for the High Elves. They really can't afford to cough up any more hit points where they don't need to, and so they're going to pay dearly for not having been able to get rid of these archers sooner, though they do make good on it now with the Rangers, who have pretty nice speed for an infantry unit, as they're able to easily catch and kill the peasant bowmen finally before they're able to do any more damage to the High Elf Noble. But as you can see over here, the Bretonnians have a few Questing Knights surviving, and I mean just a few, literally, in this unit, only 3, and the other unit just shattered. So I guess my statement ended up being rather true for that unit, and then there's 13 over here in this unit. Gonna see the foot squires trying to flee away from Eltharion. At this point, it's probably too late. He's gonna have charge speed. He'll catch them. You can see the Phoenix Guards also ready to engage. Let's get a good look at this. This game is so epic. It's over 3 years old, but it still really is a great Total War game. I mean, as much as I like some of the new Total War games, Three Kingdoms is a solid game. Troy is a solid game. From a personal opinion standpoint, neither one of them can touch this game still to me, and I want them to. There are good things about those games, and there are some people who will probably like those games better than this one, but for me, it just doesn't happen. In fact, we were just having a conversation about this in my Discord. I know it's kind of random, but while we're waiting on the final engagement, I kind of still think that my favorite historical title for Total War, probably the best one out there, is probably Shogun II. And some people might be like, really? Rome II and Carthage? Rome II was pretty good by the end of it. It was pretty good. It still had a lot of things about it that I would have liked them to have corrected. And what's funny is that Attila came along and introduced some stuff, in my opinion, that would have made Rome II a lot better, but then also introduced things that just made Attila worse. So it's like this odd combination of, like, should have been better, kind of like, it's kind of like Napoleon and Empire for me. Napoleon came along and introduced a lot of things that were better than Empire and were really great, but then it took away some of the things that I liked about Empire that were really good. And so it was one of those kind of things, right? It was just really strange. And it's kind of that way with me for Rome II. Shogun II was spectacular. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to get off this topic. Let's watch the rest of this fight, because it is an epic battle here, and it is going to be very narrow indeed. You can see that Bretonnia does have the advantage in terms of the power bar. Eltharion, though, is holding on tough here despite an assault here by questing knights and the Fay Enchantress, and he just puts a beating on the Fay, again, despite everything that's happening here, and he is about to kill her. And if he does, it could swing this battle. Remember, when she is in melee, it is taking hit points away pretty much nonstop. Look at the bombardments here coming in from Eltharion. He is putting up a mammoth fight here at the very end and doing a solid job of it. It's possible this Phoenix Guard comes back from routing, but Eltharion is now wavering as well, so it is a very dicey situation for the High Elves at this point. They are teetering on a knife's edge in terms of staying in this battle, and Eltharion is facing multiple armor-piercing units and the Lord's support here from the Fey, so it's not looking like he'll be able to turn this one around. But look, the Phoenix Guard not about to give up on the Warden. They do come back in. The Warden continues to bombard with his ability, and it causes damage, and the Phoenix Guard going to make their last-second charge. The Fay Enchantress comes to meet them, but she can't stay there for long. Despite the fact that she's causing damage to them, it won't take much to put her under. And it ends up being a marvelously close ending here, but Bretonnia pulls out the win. The peasants and the nobles combine to take down the Lurdened, the High, and the Mighty, the High Elves of Ulthuan. So they managed to get it done. But an impressive showing nonetheless here from both sides. A great replay. I really appreciate this one being sent. I'm going to go call out who it was that sent it in. This is the name from Discord, at least. Actually, it's the same name he's got here on Steam. I can't pronounce this well. I'll let you all help me out with that one, but thank you. I'm just going to call him Dramig here. I'll take the first part of it. Thank you for sending this in. This was a lot of fun to watch. It was a great replay. Way to pull that one out there with Bretonnia. I thought you did a pretty spectacular job with your questing knights in this battle. Nice maneuvering early on, getting after those archers, and then nice rear charges later in the battle. So well done there. And then for the High Elf player, I love the persistence with the Phoenix Guard. Look at this one, picking up 2 chevrons along the way. That unit got some work done. And then same thing with the Noble. Another unit that got some serious work done during this battle. And Eltharion showed you that he is definitely a tank. I think that early on here, the Illyrian Reavers got bunched up in a fight with the Noble that they really shouldn't have been in against those Pegasus Knights. The Illyrian Reavers could have caused near irreparable damage on charge to the foot squires and to the archers that were in the vicinity. So I almost would have liked to have seen the Noble just try and pull away from that Pegasus fight and let these Illyrian Reavers do to the Bretonnians what the questing knights did to the High Elves, going after those archers. Get rid of those archers early. The peasant archers didn't do a ton. I'm pretty sure their chevrons here were placed by the player ahead of the battle, because 1, 6, and 8 kills does not really stack up in my mind that they probably earned that from a single entity. I guess it's possible, but most likely not. I'm assuming that he had some leftover cash, placed it on the peasant bowman. But again, great battle to both players. Loved the gameplay here. Probably wasn't perfect by both players, but it was fun. Battle that came down to the end. Another battle that reminds us, I think, why so many of us like this game. It has some epic battles, and I think that's one of the things I love about it. So many lords, so many unit combinations, so many lores of magic. And folks, let this sink in. We're getting another one of these games at some point. We don't know when. I think some of us are worried it might be, you know, like 2022 or something, because we haven't heard an announcement at this point. But who knows? Hopefully in 2021 we'll be getting Warhammer 3. It's going to get bigger. There's going to be more factions, more magic, more lords, more... It's just, this is awesome. It feels like probably one of the most comprehensive Total War experiences we've ever had. Probably the most comprehensive one that we've ever had. But in any case, hope you all enjoyed this. If you do want to see more, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know subscribing doesn't mean a lot. If you want to click the bell, it'll actually notify you when there's a new video. That's up to you. If you do watch the videos, though, and you like them, do me a huge favor. Hit the like button. If you didn't like it, go hit the dislike button, and then please leave me a comment to tell me what I should do better, because that'll help me out as well. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope to see you all again soon in the near future.